What's good with it in the Who With It Gunners Collective? You already know what it is. Said he grew up. They said he grew up. Hit the block, then he blew up. You already know what it is, man. Hey, you see that thumbnail right there? Oh, that's S-Bone, right? S-Bone, man. My respects first and foremost. Wow. You know, what a difference a day makes. You know, one thing I know for sure, and I'm in Menudo in direct fashion, I'm going to tell you a few stories about OGs. Real ones. Veteranos is what we call them in the barrio, right? People that are to be admired and respected. You might not respect them for what they've done in life because, orale, that beach cruiser and that brocha don't make a man, right? But at the end of the day, man, you respect them for places they've been and a lot of the turmoil and things that they've went through. Now, you know, in the Mexicano, the raza, the way of doing things in our culture, you know, we respect our elders. We respect, you know, our old folks, people going by, you know what I mean? You know, everybody sees the old lady on the corner just trying to get it, or the old man walking that's been, the vatos hunched over. I said he's done a lot of back-breaking work his whole life, and that's commendable. That's to be respected. That's to be, you know, hey, vato led by example. You know, if you don't see that and you don't feel pride in your people, then I don't know what the fuck to tell you. You bumped your head, like Jesus said. But one thing I know for sure is when I see youngsters or people disrespecting older people, it makes me feel some type of way. It gets my blood boiling. So I got pissed, when I see it, right? Guard! Fuck you. Straight up. I'm pissed, right? I just don't like people preying on older folks or disrespecting them or feeling that they could, you know, victimize them because they can't, you know, throw these anymore. Because I can tell you a story about an old man that can throw those. You know, this guy's name was Popeye, and he used to move his mouth like that and used to move these like that. You know, he was good with it, in the hood with it. But anyways, let's fast forward on to S-Bone. Okay, S-Bone is actually an OG, a well-respected gangster man or individual from the 40s, you know, doing it real sporty. The 40s is a notorious neighborhood, you know, from Southern California. I say Southern California because I know they got the 40s in LA. They also have the 40s in San Diego. Respects to them vatos out there really putting it down for their neighborhoods. You know, I did time with the 40s. You know, I did time with a couple guys from the 40s, man, from the neighborhood 40s. And I'll tell you right now, they were about that function, about that action. They were equivalent to the 60s, man. Where I was at, they was handling their business simultaneously, side by side, and putting people on their backs. It just was what it was. Now, I was in YA with them at a time when guerra was wild. Everybody was fighting everybody. You had the 60s and the 8 Trays. You had the Hoovers in the 60s. You had the 40s and whoever wanted it. You had the Bloods and the Crips. You had the Norte and the Sud. You had the fucking Bulldogs every once in a while doing their thing. You had the Woods. Not trying to have funk with nobody, but willing and able. You had a little bit of everyone. The Asians were going off with the Southsiders. I mean, it was just cracking. Everywhere you looked, you know, the earth shook. You know, people were gangbanging. I know over years things change. Seasons change, like that old school song, right? Seasons change and people grow up, they grow out of it, or they still stay in it. People like S-Bone from the 40s that grew up in the system, you know, had been incarcerated most of his life, really reputable out there in the streets, really putting it down, is a well-known figurehead from his neighborhood. Now, you got to understand, there's some people that stand out from the barrio, from the hood. They're just known, eh? You know, that one homeboy with major mitts, major hands. He's always going to be loved and respected in the hood because, you know, hey, you can speak on him. Like, hey, that fucking he's a legend, eh? He got hands, right? Then there's other people with good mouthpieces, man. They just know how to spit the verbiage. You know, they're vernacular, spectacular. They know how to speak. They show leadership qualities and skills. And that's the homeboy, like, that's a righteous ass homeboy. That motherfucker right there, god damn, he could pull a fat bitch from a motherfucking Twinkie. Like, no doubt, right? You know what I mean? He could sell a tick to a Dizog, right? He's got that game. Everyone is known for what they're known for. You know, I got a homeboy that's known for just fucking being a baoso. And that's it. But he's loved and respected. You know, he's righteous. He's never told on anyone, never gotten in the mix like that. And no one can say nothing bad about him other than he's dumber than a box of rocks. Now, when it comes to S-Bone, being well respected from a very well known neighborhood, that carries a lot of weight. That carries a lot of weight. And I can't sit here and say the politics or the way the Crips rock or the way the brothers rock because I've never been a Crip or black, right? I've been brown and kicked it with a lot of blacks, but I've never been involved in what they've been involved in, so I can't speak on their shit. I know it's a lot different from the raza politics and the way we get down, and everybody knows it. Everybody knows it. No one's going to sugarcoat it or add preservatives. No one's going to sit here and act like we're better than them or they're better than us. That's not the way it is, man. Everyone, and I say everyone, even the Woods, are about that business, right? Everyone got hitters. And S-Bone is well known. S-Bone is well known. I had heard his name prior to ever being on YouTube. That's how real it gets, When people represent their neighborhood swell, when people are known, when people are OGs that are looked up to, within that hood, their name hits in them California streets. See, we live in a big state, but it's a small world. Some of the people that you think or you hear about that you think you'll never run into, you see them at a fucking gas station. You're like, damn, you're filling it up. I'm filling it up. You're filling it up. I guess I'm filling it up, right? You guys are both doing what you're doing, and it's a trip to run into them so you can put a face to the name. Now, I heard S-Bone's name way back in the days, that he was well respected from the 40s, and I said, okay, cool. Maybe one of these days, once upon a time along the way, along this yellow brick road, if the wind is blowing just right, I might run into him on one of these prison yards because I already knew prison was in my future, even as a youngster. That was just, we strived for that. If you didn't strive to go sit down for a minute and go to prison, then you weren't it. You weren't the one. You weren't really doing what you were supposed to be doing because everybody who was putting in the necessary work and was really trying to be a gangster and really living that life sat down a time or two. Now, some people just got caught up and they sat down and it just was what it was. And some never sat down. And it doesn't mean the guy that did time in prison is any more harder than the guy that didn't. It just means that guy was a little bit smarter. And, the wiggleization just worked out for him. He was able to fucking get away when I wasn't. But when you're doing a lot of time and you're moving from institution to institution, prison to prison, yard to yard, you're going to run into people. It was crazy, man. I've hit yards, man, where almost everybody I was in YA with is there. It was like a fucking family reunion. We're back, Here's Johnny. Motherfuckers were here. I was like, God damn, bro, where I know you from? He was like, oh, we was on Madison Cottage back in, all right, cool. You know what I mean? We still knew the handshake. What is it? The secret handshake. The LeBron and Bronny. Everything was good, right? And then there was guys that you had heard about that you had never done time with. They're like, hey, the homie, remember this fool? We were hearing about him. He's on this yard, A yard or B yard. And you're like, oh, shit, right? That's right. And then you just never run into each other. And it is what it is. Life goes on. He's doing his thing. You do yours. S-Bone is a name that I heard many and many times, even in Northern California. It's just what it was. To be well respected. Now, when I started this YouTube shit, I knew I would meet a lot of people. I knew because of the things that I was speaking about and things I was speaking on, that I would have the option to conversate with people behind the scenes and meet people. And that's just the way it goes, man. When you start a YouTube channel, if you decide to do it, depending upon the genre you get involved in, that's the type of people you're going to meet. If you collect fucking Micro Machine mini cars, well, sabes que, then you're going to meet some big old fat guy in his mother's basement collecting them right along with you. And you guys are going to have great conversations. And woo, there you go, right? In my life and what I'm doing, the type of things that I'm speaking on or that I speak about or the things, the trials and tribulations that I've been through, it puts me in contact with people that are in the streets, people that are of the streets or out of the streets but have been there before. And we just conversate, and some of us see eye to eye, and some of us don't fucking get along at all. It's just the way it is, I'm not one of the baddest people on the planet. I don't proclaim to be. I'm not even close, right? I have my flaws, I have my failures, and then I have my strive, and I strive to do better every single day. That's just all you can do as a person. I'm an ex-gang member that was heavily involved in things, man, and I'm heavily uninvolved in things. And that's just it. Do I speak on some individuals, man, that are still in the game? I absolutely do, man, but I speak with respect and know that at every time and when I speak, man, I don't just talk to talk. I really truly mean something behind it, and respects are given because they're earned and well-deserved. Now, when it comes to S-Bone, that's how I felt. And one day I'm flipping through fucking YouTube or Instagram or fucking MySpace or Mocospace. I don't know. I'm digging through one of these fucking platforms. And I see him. And he's singing my actual intro music. I said, oh, look at S-Bone getting it, right? Because by this time I had kind of seen him on YouTube a couple times. But now he was actually speaking on something that was near and dear to my heart. He was actually singing my intro, and he was like, yeah, that fool Gunner's funny, this and that, respectful. You know, nothing bad. He didn't disrespect me, no derogatory statements. So when a person treats me like that, and that's what they show me, well, I got to show them and reciprocate that right back. So it was all love. So somewhere in the meantime, in between time, we got a hold of each other on Instagram, and we conversated a couple times. And I was trying to set up an interview with them, and, you know, we were a week off on that, and it just didn't work out. Okay, but hey, we paid it no, never mind. There was no hate or animosity. There was, hey, brother, man, thank you for even acknowledging having this conversation with me, man. I heard your name. I know your name moves boulders, not rocks, right? And it's all good in the hood, you know? And that was that. Menudo, we moved on. Okay, no animosity there. And I respect the guy. You know, I respect what I've heard about him. You know, I can't sit here and say I seen him get in a fight, but I heard he's a cold knockout artist. I heard he's the type of motherfucker that'll pull up with a pistol and a Bible and tell you we could either shoot it out or we could read motherfucking Psalms together, right? This is the type of guy he is. He's not the one to be played with. So lately, people have been going in on him. And I'm the first one to tell you I know exactly how it feels. You know, I know exactly how it feels to have people, you know, disrespect you, disrespect your family, disrespect your what you're doing. Try to shut down your shop, try to sabotage your channel. I mean, do anything they can over and over again to basically dictate your program, to fucking try to steer you a certain way, to make you get off YouTube, to hate on you. And people are relentless because they have a whole lot of time in their hands. I mean, they ain't really doing nothing else in their life, so that's what they choose to do. And to each their own, man. I'm not going to sit here and disrespect and hate on them. I'm just going to say, I don't care, right? I don't care. That's just how it is. Now, I see that the same thing is going on with S-Bone. All of a sudden, I don't know which route he went, but all of a sudden, a lot of individuals are feeling the need to expose him, to dig up his past, to really look into his gangsterisms, to really see if he is that one. Now, anything I've ever heard, and like I said, I heard this off YouTube, man. I had never heard a bad word spoken on S-Bone. I only heard that he had knockout punches. He was really righteously from his hood, and he laced a lot of youngsters up and showed a lot of love to the homies and was real sporty with it, right? From the 40s with it on Neighborhood. Now, that's what he did. So who was I to disrespect him? And I won't. You know, who am I to say one thing or another? Like I said, man, I'm not flawless. I have my past, you know. People went to digging on my past and found some shit I didn't even know existed, right? And there it is. You know, I'm not going to sit here and confirm or deny. All I'll do is just keep on pushing and say, hey, Spence on la tira, man. Hey, the truth shall set you free, right? I have no fucking monkey on my back. I have no, hey, lay your head on my pillow. I don't have to lay my head on nobody's pillow. I'm just going to do me. Make sure my shit's fluffy, like Fluffy, and do my thing and keep pushing. You like me or you don't. You know, it's up to you. But individuals like Whack 100, individuals like, you know, Spider Loke, and I don't even like to put Spider Loke in Whack 100's category because that's totally different mentalities there, you know. You know what I mean? We already know, blah, 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 blah. I'm about to fucking make shit up, tell on you. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. Him and his fucking partner, 6ix9ine, right? They're vicious. Now that's telling. This brother got at me today. He's like, hey, Gun, you're just mad because Whack 100 exposed you because you told on your people. I said, yeah, who did it? Him and 6ix9ine together? Fuck you and him. Straight up. Bang, bang. Delete. Now, you know, when it comes to S-Bone, I see he's going through the motions, man. And from what I hear, this is someone you don't want to play with. This is someone you can't test on the regular. You know, this is an OG, man. And some of these OGs come from a different era and move a different way. You know, there's people in this world, man, that can't let go of the past. They were raised in the system a certain way. They were raised on the streets a certain way. They're going to continue that until the day they hit that desert, right? They're just trying to make something out the mud. Now, you got to understand, people that have never lived that life or really have not been involved at that level or have done it at that, you know, the ways that they do it, man, you got to beware because some of them old ways were quite vicious, you know. I'm not going to say shit got sugar-coated and watered down and preservatives got added, but I'm going to say it's a whole lot different than what it was. We're talking about the type of guy that'll do the Jody on you, pull up and put something in you and go, Jody, right? Lick your whole shit up. Vatos that ain't scared to throw a little motherfucking soap in the crack of a man's ass. These Vatos are different, right? I just know when it comes to S-Bone, he plays by the old school rules, man. He has an old school mentality. Now, I'm not going to sit here and bullshit you guys and say what the people are saying doesn't sound funny. You know, just like when they said about me, you know, hey, gun, it says this, it says that. And I said, well, you have to really look deep into it and look deep into your heart and really be understandable in what what you know. I can't blame no one but myself, man. And it is what it is. Sometimes you have to take accountability and be transparent with shit. And that's just it. It'll set you free, man. When it comes to S-Bone, because he has such a reputable reputation on the streets, you know, I can see where people are hating. And let's take it back, man. It seems like all this stems from, you know, him hanging around with the homie Cowboy. Yeah, I said the homie, right? Cowboy. You know, I know a lot of people got a lot of shit to say about Cowboy, and I'm going to touch on that in a different spiel here in a minute, you know, since I'm up in it. But I'll tell you, facts are that a lot of people can say a lot of things, and they can show you what they want to show you. But now with all this bullshit going on, AI, and people just talking the talk, but never walking that walk, man, you can't believe anything you hear and half of what you see. It's just what it is. I'm sorry, man. You have to judge a man by the content of his character, the way he treats you as a person, man. Now, I understand there's certain things that we just can't let pass. Raza, period. You know, no one that touches children and no one that even attempts to touch a child will get a fucking ghetto pass in my neighborhood or by me, period. I've said it, man. I've stuck to it. The grind is real. But when I know something to be totally frivolous and fake, man, I'm not going to agree with it. You know, I'm not going to sit here and say, hey, this guy Cowboy went on the stand of this and that. And, you know, that's not my politics, homes. That's not my people's. I have nothing to say about that. His people, however they deal with him, because of that, he said, man, you know what I mean? Talk or take a fade, man. He said, man, the knuckles are ready at any point in time. Well, I mean, he has a cast on his shit right now. But still, you know what I mean? All he needs is a righty while you're a lefty. And it's good, man. Southpaw stance. He'll handle his business. But I pay that no, never mind. You know, a lot of people got on my headpiece about hanging around with the guy and everything, man. And like I said, that's the homie, man. He treated me with a whole lot of respect, a whole lot of, you know, canalismo. And I got to reciprocate that back. I got to be a real person and say, hey, what you think and what you say is not what I think and I say, man. And I'm going to rock with that till the wheels fall off. So anyways, I guess S-Bone decided that for no other reason, because they had a common enemiga, someone that was woofing on both their names, that he was going to back Cowboy up in his play. And then people started getting on his head because they felt, you know, that's usually what happens. But other people's shit becomes your shit. You know what I mean? What stinks over here is going to stink over there. It ain't going to switch up. So people started to investigate him and go in on him. And the word on the curb is that way back in the days, man, he was involved in an investigation where pictures were placed in front of him and he nodded. Okay, now I watch people like Hoodie from the Hood. I watch, you know, other Crip channels or people that are affiliated with the Crips. I don't want to put that on their plato. But I'm just saying, and they've spoken their opinions on it. And I'm here to tell you, man, a nod is as good as a yes, right? But at the end of the day, nobody else was in the room, you know, to say that man nodded. Nobody was actually there to say anyone got convicted of that crime. No one was there. It's all he said, she said, hearsay, sure say, right? It's all that. You know, it's all a bunch of bullshit, man. I don't trust nothing I see anymore because there's so much fraudulent thing. How do you think I got played out of pocket with the whole American Cholo situation? You know what I mean? Someone sent me something that was total bullshit, man, and I ran with it like a stupid ass, right? And look, who looked dumb? Who had egg on his nose? Me. Scrambled, right? Straight up. And I had to apologize because it was the right thing to do, and I've moved on, and I'm sure he has too. But at the end of the day, man, there's so much fakeness going on, you can't trust anything you see anymore. You know, and I'm not here to defend someone who's in bad standings. I'm not here to defend someone who has flaws in their get up. I'm just saying, man, I'm not going to fucking judge everything that I've ever seen or heard about this man because Sosa said so. Fuck him and you. And Chichi that was banging on the door. Let me in, Tony. Tony said, fuck you, eh? My sister's dead. I said, can I have a little bit time to fucking, you know what I mean? Condolences. Anyways, fuck me, Tony, she said. You know what I mean? And that dude fucked her pretty much with the Uzi. Now, I'm going to tell you right now that Tony fucked him in the fucking, I was going to say he fucked him in the shower, but you know what I mean? That's a whole different movie, so that's gay. What are they, Pornhub? Anyway, look, trip out on this. One thing I'm going to say for facts and for sure is that, you know, S-Bone definitely, man, I'm not here to woof on him or disrespect him. I'm just saying, man, I can see where he's coming from and all this shit. And before people jump to conclusions and jump on that gravy train and want to disrespect a man, you know, you have to give a man his just due, his due process, man. Don't go disrespecting a man just because that's the cool thing to do. I felt that wrath for many, many a months now, for many years. People talk shit about me just because they don't like me. Then I'm all kinds of this and that. I'm Mr. Ferretti. I'm just all kinds of bad peoples. But really, I'm not, man. Really, I'm a cool dude. And if you've ever met me in real life, you know, I'm not here to play the big bad gangster. I'm just here to tell my stories. And hey, Spence on the tira. If you don't like it, you know, it ain't for you. Anyways, when it comes to S-Bone, man, I'm hoping, you know, that this gets stopped, man, because this can get real. You know, this can get real. You know, when people are disrespecting, it's been happening a lot lately. People are disrespecting people on the internet thinking, hey, it's just YouTube, eh? It ain't real life. No, it becomes real life. And people like that individual and even his homeboys that rock with them, you know, might feel some type of way. And it could get real ugly on the streets just like it can on the YouTube yarda. And that's just how it is, man. This is no place to speak ill will about people and to fucking slander their name because, you know, you never know when you're going to run into them at a supermarket. And that's just what it is. It's going to be super. And you can mark that. With that being said, gente, how I feel about the man is I'm not going to fucking jump on his case and disrespect him. I'm not in no position to do that anyways. But one thing I'll say for sure is as a raza, man, us being the type of people we are, we can't prejudge people. I know a lot of people are keeping up with what's going on with all the creepas and all the, you know, the 600s and the this and the that. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's none of our business, man. We can speak on it. We can sit here and have a civil conversation about it and enlighten each other. And talk about the he said, she said, but at the end of the day, man, them guys are going to do what them guys do. And I'm going to tell you right now, don't sleep on the brothers, man. The brothers will wiggle. With that being said, out that you move smooth with a purpose, get everything that you want coming to you. This is a double up. I had to double bubble on him. I just had to, man. This is a S-Bone situation, man. And I'm telling you right now, from a real one from way back in the days, that's it. You know, I heard this guy's name, man. I never heard a bad thing about him. Never. And now all of a sudden, you know what I mean? Just because he's cool with someone that everyone else doesn't want to be cool with, now he's the bad guy. Go figure. I'm in the same boat. Move with your hands, motherfucker, like this. And get to wiggling. You already know what it is. Move and groove, man. Make it happen for your peoples because only you will do it. Thumbs up or thumbs down. See, Heavy's going to be the head that wears Gunner's crown. I got it cocked right here to the left, right? I'm going to keep doing what I does. And I'm going to continue to strive, man, because I got to wear that crown. And it's a heavy head that wears it, you know. With that being said, gente, bang, bang, double up gang.